Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, it is Aussieverse, and we are back, baby. And tonight, we are talking all things Karate Kid. Why? Because Jump Punch Comics, Dazza, the man himself, is back, and he is partnering with Sony to talk and to show off all things Karate Kid. Dazza, why don't you tell it in a much better way and more informative way? Why are we here?
Well, so we've been promoting Jump Punch as best we can, and we've had something really exciting come up in the last couple of weeks where Sony have invited us to attend the premiere screening of Karate Kid Legends as Team Jump Punch. So we'll be promoting our new some Jump Punch links and merch when we get there. But they've also asked myself to introduce the film at the premiere. So it's a really exciting opportunity for us.
Good. That's massive.
Yeah. It's awesome. So I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to get out there and just start blabbing about it, partly because I want to show off and partly because you guys are cool. And yeah, go from there. So super pumped by this opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. So I remember that you had one for the Ninja Turtles. Is this the second one you've ever done, or is this just something that you've always done and we're just new to it?
So the Ninja Turtles thing was just kind of done on a whim. We were actually last year, we were talking with some theater about could we collaborate, because Karate Kid was meant to be released last year. And Jump Punch is all Jackie Chan. Like when we started, Nathan Anias and myself, when we created Jump Punch, it was like, how do we squeeze that Jackie Chan vibe in there? And we're like, oh, Jackie Chan's gonna be in Karate Kid. What can we do with that? The film got postponed. I'll talk about it in a minute, but we are still doing some theater thing in the next couple of weeks for Karate Kid. But then that led to a connection through Sony, and then they said, come on down, let's do some stuff together. Let's get that vibe coming to the cinema here. And I'm like, okay, holy moly, that's awesome, you know? So I've kind of programmed it in my mind that it's not just Jump Punch and Karate Kid, it's like Jump Punch representing the next Jackie Chan film, you know what I mean? So yeah, making some ground, getting some feet through doors. I joke with my wife that, you know, when Jump Punch eventually gets a foot in a door, it'll be like a back kick smashing down the door. That'll be what we do. So this is where we're at. So super excited about it, you know?
That's awesome, mate. So Sony reached out to you guys.
Yeah, so it's all the people you meet, right? Like, so some theater have a good connection with Sony anyway, because they have to discuss with them for distribution. And they said, look, you know, Daryl's going to be running a martial arts display in front of the theater. So I'll talk about that in a second. But that just word got around and things like this. And yeah, start chatting with Sony. And then they're like, cool, can we do that at the premiere? So I'm like, yes, we can. And as I'm talking to them on the phone, the girl there, Cheryl is her name. She's like, actually, you sound really excited about this, and I think you'd probably be better at presenting the film than I would. Would you be happy to introduce the film as well? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that too. I'll introduce the film. You know, I'll talk about Karate Kid and martial arts cinema. No worries. So yeah,
that is so cool. And mate, this could be huge for you guys. I mean, well, Sony, yeah, you've got a foot in the door with Sony. Next thing you know, you're on the red carpet somewhere for the next Karate Kid film. And how good would that be? We'll give you an Aussieverse t-shirt to wear.
Yes, exactly. Well, you guys have been there since the beginning, so yeah, we've got to bring you guys along. So yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Sony to distribute the Jump Punch movie when that comes out as well. So we've got some stuff ready. I've been hustling. I've remodeled our Jump Punch promo artwork, which I'm pretty happy about. Like a big kind of group shot of our little team there. Is that going right? With Joe, awesome. Yukari. Trying to channel some sort of Streets of Rage kind of vibes. But anyway, there'll be QR codes on the back for people who come to the premiere to get a glimpse at our novel and download issue 1 and stuff as well. So we're taking advantage of the opportunity as best we can, you know. And Sony, everyone's happy with that. So there'll be like an audience of 430 people, they say. We'll be able to get in front of them, talk about what we're doing. Also spruik up Karate Kid, which I'm genuinely excited about. But yeah.
So where is this premiere going to be located?
Hoyts at Melbourne Central. Yeah,
beautiful.
So, Melbourne, slap bang in the middle of the city. How good's that?
That's right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I won tickets. You guys would be familiar with Lobo's Toys in Thornbury. Yeah. So I won tickets to see a movie called Bullet Train with them a couple of years ago, and we were at the premiere for that. So they do a whole thing. Like they have a photo wall. and you get your snap in front of the banner there, and then they send you through. You get some merch and stuff like this. So the idea for me and my student, one of my students, Caitlin, who's like, she's been training in Taekwondo for 10 years. She's moving into amateur Muay Thai fighting now as well. So she's really tough cookie. She's going to be there with me to support, like as an honorary team jump punch member. The idea is we're meant to coach people through some martial arts poses and little action scenes for them to do in front of the photo wall and stuff. So make some cool looking, cheesy looking as well, photo ops with, random martial arts poses and stuff like this. So all just for a bit of fun, just to get everyone excited about the film and just enjoy the vibe of it.
She should come in character, like total bitch mode.
Yes. Yeah. Get a big scar down her face as well. Just look really grim.
Just like be really rude and, just... I'm the one with the issues.
Yeah, well, it'd be a good setting to do that, right? Like, I mean, you could fob it all off as like you're in character, but release all that inner rage. Caitlin's super chill.
You talk about that, mate, because last time we caught up and had a chat, you mentioned that there was a young person who actually went to one of the cons, I think, dressed as one of your characters.
Yeah, so this is a jump punch blab mode. So we're really excited about the trajectory of this. Like each year we get like little snippets that kind of make us think, well, okay, how far can we keep pushing this thing? You know what I mean? So it was like a couple of years ago, we were invited to the Melbourne International Film Festival to pitch our project. We've made a lot of awesome contacts through that who have really thought we're doing something cool that could be adapted onto the screen. Last year we had the graphic novel launch, the Ninja Turtles team up. We've had like a number of kids dress up as characters from our comic. We had last year at it was in September at Book Week at schools. Parents would send us through photos. Here's our son. He's dressed as Deadeye, one of our characters. Here's the other kid dressed as Joe. And we're like, holy friggin' moly! This is like we're getting just little bits there. And then this year, Karate Kid Legends. Like it's This isn't, I'll let you guys know, this isn't even the big event on our calendar this year. We've got something in store for September that we're really excited about. But this came up and we have to capitalize on it and just kind of like, really, jump on it as you would.
And when's the movie out?
So the premiere's on Saturday, but the movie comes out on June 5th, which leads into the next thing on Saturday, June 7th. Anyone in Melbourne who's near Yarraville at Sun Theatre, we're running a Karate Kid class out the front of the cinema. So there'll be three classes for little 6 to 8 year olds, 8 to 12-year-olds, and then 13 above. So Karate Kids at heart are welcome as well. So we're going to run 3 lessons. The mats will be there. I'm in the full weather permitting, like rain. Hopefully it's dry, but I'll be in my karate outfit and we'll be doing a mini lesson. And then right after lesson, kids will get some Karate Kid merch. They're going to win some like the headbands and little drink bottles and sweat towels and stuff like this. And then they get a free popcorn as well for going in to watch the movie right after the lesson. So yeah, it should be a bit of a
what a great night.
A great morning. So this is the other thing. So in the morning, we're doing the Sun Theatre. In the afternoon, we're going to set up at Luna Park. So Luna Park are running a big Karate Kid promotion as well. So we have Jump Punch is Karate Kid Legends. That's us, So we'll be at Luna Park for 3 hours that afternoon. And again, just showing people having fun, just like what we do at Comic-Con, pull people up, break them out of their comfort zone a little bit. Say, try this sidekick. Here, read this comic. Enjoy Karate Kid. So yeah, super, super excited. Really cool opportunity,
Sounds like it's going to be a fun day for everyone.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm already prepared to be feeling pretty cooked after it. It'll be a long day, but again, I got a couple of students helping out at the Sun Theatre. 2 boys who are in my martial arts class tonight. Actually, they're going to help run the kids' lessons, and then Caitlin, my senior student, she'll be coming to Luna Park as well. So it's a really cool opportunity. Like I romanticize everything. You know what I mean? So seeing the parallels between the master and my students. We're kind of doing this cool thing together, like it's, yeah. What up, hotties? Look at
that. Obviously, look at the screen. Camera's turned off. Thank you, Max.
Yeah, Yes, you must be absolutely pumped, man. I mean, I can imagine you being a fan of the Karate Kid as well, given your martial arts background and your age.
Like the original one, 100%. I tried watching Karate Kid 3 the other night, and I was like, oh, this is a bit rough. But the first one, for sure, fantastic movie, and even more so, big fan of Jackie Chan, like the old school Jackie Chan movies. Love them, so.
Thank you, Max.
So, did you want to talk about anything else to do with Jump Punch comics before we get into the Karate Kid?
Well, yeah, I guess we'd love if anyone watching would be who's excited about this kind of stuff, all the kind of things we're doing. I feel like Jump Punch has become like in the space we're in, a pretty cool like promotional kind of thing as well. We do some pretty cool events like with our turtles thing and the stuff we're coming up. But I'm going to encourage everyone to jump on Jump Punch on our Insta page. Give us a follow because our graphic novel will be released soon in 2 formats. We've got like a standard edition and like the complete edition, which is what our backers on Kickstarter got. That's a rare issue in your hand. There's only 100 copies of those.
Who's the lucky boy?
That's right. What else? So in July and Aussieverse team, I'm going to bug you guys again in a few more weeks because we've got a cool event coming up in July 17th and 21st that I've got some awesome prize packs here. I won't give any details right now, but the prize packs I've got here, I was like very tempted to keep them for myself and not tell anyone about it. But you guys will love that. I'm sure when we talk about it in a couple of weeks, this July event, you guys will be like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And then in September, we are releasing a kind of a preview issue for Volume 2 of Jump Punch. I've written like a kind of, how do I talk about it? So Jump Punch, when you get into the story, you'll realize like it sort of goes off in 2 pathways. We have like a modern era Jump Punch where the characters are trying to find this artifact called the Magatama. And we go back to ancient Japan to look about who the people who were in the past who wielded this Magatama, this powerful object, and what they looked like in their prime back then as well. So I've written like a junior novel. This is like a 20,000 word novel I've already written this year that I'm turning into like a visual novel. So it'll be like, images, not a comic book, but images to accompany the storytelling. So it's kind of like, like a junior novel, but like our artwork accompanying that as well. I wanted to do something that's
I get what you mean. Like, I've got a book like that. That's great. Yeah, so
it was me with my teacher hat on. I just didn't want to just do comics. I wanted to get like more literacy-based things going on. So really happy about that. So the first half of that novel will be released in this preview edition with some artwork and also a couple of glimpses of what's happening for issue 5, 6, 7, which we've already got underway for Volume 2. So that event, we'll be releasing that in September. So people will be able to have a look at that in September. And then also we have another promotional event in September, which I will talk to you guys about at another date. But Jackie Chan is also involved in this. So it's super excited. Again, awesome prizes and stuff I've been sourcing already this year. So follow us on Instagram and we'll let you know as we can.
Wow.
So what you're trying to busy. Yeah, I was going to say what you're trying to say, mate, is you're not going to be sleeping before the end of the year.
No, sleep when I'm dead. No, it's like really motivating at the moment. It's really fun. Just like the positive feedback we're getting, and just the when you see some progress happening, it's kind of like just sort of tells you in a way that okay, like keep pushing, see what happens, kind of thing. So that makes it exciting. So a lot of work to do, but like I get motivated myself by the story. I want to see the finished Jump Punch story. Because it's when you get to the end of this story, you're going to be like, it's a thrill ride. You're going to be like blown away by it. So jump on now, be one of the early adopters. So when you tell your friends, when your friends start saying, "Oh, have you read Jump Punch?" You're like, "Yeah, like I already know about that." Be the cool one in your friend group.
That's a great sales pitch.
Yes, be the cool one in your friend group. Like Jump Punch now.
Yeah, and the other thing, mate, which I think is really, really cool about this, everything that you're doing is that one thing that we haven't touched on is you're potentially introducing martial arts to a lot of kids.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, as people who've been watching the channel for a little bit know that we've both been doing it for quite some time, and it's such a good tool for kids. It helps with concentration, fitness, your emotions, controlling your emotions, inner strength, all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, totally.
What you're not doing is you're not just introducing it to the kids, but you're actually going to be helping kids on a pathway that's really, really good.
Well, again, my head's always in the clouds, and I romanticize everything. I think about like, you think, well, Karate Kid's a perfect example, right? Like how many people did that convince to start karate classes and martial arts? You know, that was like a phenomenon back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
And we've hit a bit of a drought with that at the moment, you know? Like I'd love to see an action movie come through, like Jump Punch or whatever, but like just inspire a group of people. Wow, I'm going to go start karate or taekwondo or whatever, you know what I mean? Because like they're just pumped about this book, you know?
Yeah.
Be awesome. And like the karate, like I said, the Karate Kid parallels as well. Like we've got our taekwondo grading is coming up, and there's two brothers in my senior class. They train. They're so dedicated. Like they have to be on death's door to miss a lesson, kind of vibe. You know, they come even if they're a bit under the weather to training and stuff. It's really cool. But when we get to gradings, they get so nervous, and everything about their confidence breaks down. Like just the idea of being reviewed and stuff like this. So it comes back, like it reminds you that martial arts is not just that physical game, but also like the mental side where you let that go and just do your performance and things will be okay. Like kind of go with the flow. So we're talking through that with them at the moment. And the thing is, they always do well at gradings. It's a weird phenomenon. They exceed in their gradings, but then when they get to it, when they're about to come up to it, they get so nervous and just so kind of defeated before they go, you know, it's a funny vibe. So yeah, good to manage that as well, you know, the mental kind of sort through your headspace while you come up to these challenges in life. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny story for me, and I haven't shared this with many people, but when I went for my black a few years ago, I was that nervous and that focused that I forgot to breathe.
Yeah.
and I nearly passed out.
Yeah. Okay. You would have been like red-faced, exhausted and stuff, yeah?
No, I was kind of more greenish white, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And one of my instructors saw me standing there like this going, oh, hang on, that's not right. Yeah, I was just like, I didn't want to get it wrong. I really wanted to nail it.
Yes.
And I was that focused, I forgot to breathe.
You were turning green. You might have been just a few moments longer. You could have gone like Hulk or something. Who knows? Like,
yeah. That would have been good. But I passed that. So
and for those that are interested in seeing what these boys can do, there is a very late video coming to Aussieverse very soon. For those that may remember, Daryl himself came on the show and was very gracious in giving away a live drawing that we had somebody bid. And we made a deal that if we got to a certain number, we would then go to a dojo where I got to beat the crap out of them. And that's exactly what happened. And we recorded it. And
I only just feel better now.
Yeah. It's exactly what happened. And if you don't believe me and you think I'm lying, well, you're just going to have to watch the video and see what really happened. But it is coming soon. It is coming soon.
Awesome.
I want to see what was left on the cutting room floor.
It'll be a minute, like a 20-second video of me walking up to Daryl just going boom, and that's it. That's the whole video.
That was good fun. We had a blast. It's going to be a great video.
Mm-hmm. You both really impressed me, especially when, like, you know, as an individual that doesn't do martial arts or doesn't really do any exercise, and I'd like to say doesn't get into too many fist fights. You do think to yourself as an adult and as a man, you know, that at least when I punch or when I kick, it's going to do some damage because I'm a man and that's what I can do. And when you do some punches and some kicks with people that actually know how to punch and kick, I'm telling you, oh man, your thoughts about how you can kick people's asses down the street suddenly changes into reality, and you realize that. I put it this way: after that night, the next day, the worst bruise that I had was when I blocked Steve. At one point, Steve went to punch, and I did the block that I was shown to do, and his bone hurt so much that my arm did not like that at all. And it showed me the next few days, and it went black. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But
Well,
we're here to
that's
talk about Karate Kid.
Well, that's a good point. Like, you know, like I think a lot of people kind of inflate their abilities in their mind. It's like after you watch movies and stuff like that, you think about Jackie Chan, he'll take on like 15 guys at once, right? But like in reality, if you punch someone once, your knuckles will kind of like, you'll get sore, you'll hurt yourself. Like it's not a nice thing, you know? So I mean, don't avoid all that conflict, you know, as much as possible, you know.
I remember
you know.
Well, from what I remember, Mr. Miyagi would just say, "No, be there."
Yes.
I remember being a real smart ass to a kid when I was like, I don't know, 14 maybe. And I'd never been punched in the face properly. And, you know, I got to admit, I was being a dick. And I just kept giving this guy shit and just kept giving this guy shit. And the next thing I know, I see the fist coming at my face. He connects. And I remember the first thought is, I think he's dented my face. Because you could feel the fist still there, even though he's gone. And that shocked me the way that felt, because I went, that's not the way I pictured a punch to feel like.
It's a wake up call though, right? Like, I mean, you adjust yourself pretty quick, you know. It's a like
teaches you a lesson.
Like as a teacher, we've got like you see some kids over the years that are like smart asses and stuff like this, and you're like, oh, you try and talk to them and stuff, but you know, like someone's going to sort that out at high school. You know, someone will sort that smart mouth out pretty quick, and it's like, you know, unfortunate or fortunate, whatever way you want to look at it. It's like kind of the Wild West in some schools and things like this, where like that kid, I've seen it so many times as a teacher, like they rattle off all this stuff in grade 6, go to high school, doesn't work out well for them when they keep that attitude up, you know. So
yeah, exactly. You go from the biggest fish in the pond the next year to the smallest fish in the pond.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, wake up calls.
And as we segue into the Karate Kid, we are proudly sponsored by Comic Bookaroo. Comic Bookaroo, proud sponsors of Aussieverse for all your comic book needs. Graphic novels, hardcovers, omnibuses, single issues. Don't forget to pre-order every Sunday at Comic Bookaroo. We also want to give a massive shout out to our 4 lifers. These are our paid members that get to join in the perks and the Instagram chat where we talk all the week about comic book stuff. If you want to join, click the link and do so now. If you do not, but you like Aussieverse and you want to support us, then just subscribe to the channel. That's the best way to do it. And the last bit of promo I will do is everybody that has a YouTube logo next to their name is because they have their own channels. Go check them out because they are very individually different from each other. And I watch them myself. So they're actually really cool channels. Now, sweep the leg. You're the best around. Nothing's ever going to keep you down. Wax on, wax off. They're about the 3 most things that come to my mind when I think of the Karate Kid. We're taking
put them in a body bag.
Yeah.
Body bag.
I always remember beginner luck.
Yes.
Catching the fly.
The 80s.
Yes.
We're in the 80s. Movies mattered at least a lot more than I feel like they do today. Some things were iconic and they shaped your personality. They made you find passions in things. Otherwise, before you watch this movie, you didn't realize you may have had a passion for. Karate Kid is one of those movies that I feel like it for a certain age group at the certain time, everybody thought it was the coolest thing around. Fast forward to 30 years later or so, and it was dormant for a very long time. Joke goes around the world about what's the bad guy's name?
Johnny. No, LaRusso.
Johnny.
Yeah.
I always forget it. there was the joke going around from like How I Met Your Mother and things like that, that Johnny may have been the good guy and Daniel's son was the bad guy. And from there, a resurgence, I feel like, happened with the Karate Kid, as well as a remake with Will Smith. We don't talk about that one, though. And all of a sudden, Cobra Kai came and the Karate Kid is back, baby. And people like myself were ecstatic. Dazza, what did the first Karate Kid movie mean to you? And how old were you?
Oh my God. I can't remember how old I was when I first saw that movie, but I definitely remember like the tournament at the end just jumped out at me all the time, you know, like, and that crane kick, like before you learn, it's just kind of a little on the spot jump front kick. I thought like, oh, you know, what is this? You know, like you think it's like some kind of ancient technique. You see him practicing on the little thing, you know, like you kind of get caught up in the mystery. I remember being so swept up in that being like oh, would that work? You know, is that going to be like, you know, imagine someone doing that in UFC, you know, this kind of stuff. But
1984.
84 was when it came out. I would have been like, I was 3 then, but I would have seen it probably around, you know, 6, 7, 8, around that age. But yeah, just remember that whole, the sort of magical side of martial arts and stuff, you know, because like, the bit when he slices the thing off with the bottles, I was like bought into that completely. I was like, because at that age you see things in movies and you're like, oh, that's happening, that's real, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't remember what age and place I saw it, but I just remember being really just bought in to the whole thing. How about you guys? Early memories of Karate Kid.
I was in high school. Early high school. Much the same as what Daz said. It was magical. It was like we hadn't seen anything really like that before, and that was kind of my introduction into martial arts movies. Now, after then, obviously, I got a bit older. You know, watched classics like Bloodsport, and you know, Van Damme was massive with Wrong Bet, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that was my first foray into martial arts movies, and I just thought, yeah, it was magical. It was just a great story. You know, the good guy wins in the end. The bad guys, you disliked them immensely. Until that very, very end scene where, you know, after the tournament, where Johnny gets basically attacked by his instructor for losing. And it's like, well, hang on, this kid's actually not that bad. And you kind of change your thoughts about Johnny. And it's nice what they've done in Cobra Kai. How you can see a different side of him too. They developed his story a bit more, which I thought was very cool. What about you, Sharek?
I would have been probably almost in my teens. For me, movies started really late. But with Karate Kid, especially the first one, first time watching it as a young person, it was seeing how another young person is able to grow from being always beaten up to being able to properly defend himself. I thought, oh, this is, and you know, the training, the supposed chores that he was doing was actually training, masked really well, and I thought, oh, cool. So things that you do every day could be part of the martial arts, but as I grew older and repeat viewings, I kind of moved away from the martial arts itself, but more towards the relationship that Daniel had with Miyagi, where, you know, he didn't have a father figure active in his life, and then you've got this person looking out for you, eventually become your mentor and your friend. Yeah, so that bit of the movie had more impact on me than the martial arts aspect of it.
How about you, Bo?
So I would have been 2 years old when it came out, so there's no way I watched it then. So I actually don't know how old I was, but I will say that when it came to what entertained me as a child, I was a very late bloomer. I was still watching like Sesame Street and things like that, probably later than most children. I couldn't get past that line of watching more adult things. And my older brother, who's 3 years older than me, we always used to argue about what videos we were allowed to rent, because he wanted nothing but martial arts and all the cool stuff, you know, I don't know, Die Hard or whatever was out back then. And all I wanted was, you know, the Little Mermaid and Disney movies and stuff like that. Where all of a sudden I got into wrestling and I started to mature a bit. And then something clicked and I was watching, I don't know if it was The Karate Kid or American Ninja or something like that, but I watched some movie that just went, wow, this is really, really cool. And all of a sudden I was into martial art movies, and I still would have been young, like probably, I'm guessing, maybe let's say 9 or 10 years old. So by that time, we probably had at least 2 Karate Kid movies, maybe even 3. I'd have to check. And it was fantastic, man. I mean, when you're a kid and you feel like a loser and you watch the main character be a loser, but then get the strength to overpower people and stick up for himself and fight for what's right. And then at the end of it, do a really cool move that everybody wants to emulate. Plus what Steve said at the end, where the bad guy you feel sorry for. This had every single emotional thing that in 2025 is being done a million times. But back then, that just hit every single note that I would want for a movie. And it was something that I could keep going back to because I just thought it was really, really cool. And I loved the characters and the emotion. Yeah.
Well, like you said, Sharif, the repeated viewings, it kind of has a lot to it. You know what I mean? Like, because after you watch it the first time and it's kind of like you're entertained and everything. But as you go back and you dive a bit deeper, yeah, that when I watch it these days as an adult, like the bond between Miss Miyagi and Daniel-san is like fantastic. And then when Daniel-san learns that Miss Miyagi had a wife and a child as well, you get that scene where he comes home drunk. And so they're helping each other, you know, like it's a really strong connection. And like you said, Steve, the whole the conflict with the bad guys at the end, that they're just being, those kids are just being misled, you know, it's incredible. Like it's such like really tight, awesome storytelling and that's why the movie holds up so well. You could watch it tonight and still be kind of like emotional and excited and all that kind of stuff, you know.
I think I also love about that whole dynamic with Mr. Miyagi and Daniel is Mr. Miyagi's patience with the kid, because the kid's hot-headed, he flies off the handle, he's just everywhere all at once, and he's just very, very patient. And if he calls him, he's like, Daniel-san, that's it. That's about as loud as he got. But just you watched him build the respect for Mr. Miyagi and all that sort of stuff. It was very much, as you said, mate, it was almost like the dad that he didn't have, and he needed that father figure in his life to help him, you know, get stable and head on the right path. And I'm not saying that, you know, single mums, for instance, can't raise good boys. Of course they can, 100% they can. And some mums do an amazing job out there. But, you know, for Daniel's case, he needed that man in his life, and he needed that positive role model, because mum was working all the time. Mum was flat chat busy and didn't really have time to do everything she wanted to with him, because she had to try and put bread on the table.
But it's also like thematically, right? It's a parental figure, you know, like whether it's like male or female. I'm sure like there's plenty of girls and stuff that watch that movie that would feel the connection and stuff as well, you know? So, yeah, brilliant.
Plus, what kid didn't see Mr. Miyagi get the fly with the chopsticks and just go, oh my God, like that's incredible. That is incredible. Plus, you know, it's also another tale as old as time. When you're a kid as well and you get bullied, like I think a lot of kids did, and you watch these movies, you know, like Never Ending Story and Karate Kid and all of these ones where you've got the typical main character getting bullied, and they somehow rise above it by either magic or karate or whatever. You, as a kid, you love that, right? I mean, unless you're the bully and you've got real issues as a kid and you hate everything, what kind of kid isn't going to watch movies like this, whether they like them or not, and at least that part just go, yeah, you know, like I get that.
But I think that as well, the message of the Karate Kid has stood the test of time. If you go back and watch it now, the message is still one that's positive.
Yeah.
And I think we need that, to be honest.
Did you see Troy's comment then? He hasn't watched the Karate Kid movies.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it. It's very different from what you see in Cobra Kai. First one especially. So like all those things, like I was just looking here as well, like Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in that film as well for an Oscar. So
okay. Well, actually, you brought me to another point. You guys were older than me, so I don't know if it happened to you, but maybe something like this has happened to you with another actor. But before you are aware of how acting works and accents and things like that, as a kid, you don't think about any of that. You just watch a movie, right?
Yes.
Yep. When I saw Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, that was who he was, right? Yep. Now, fast forward, I don't know, a couple of years later or whatever, and I see him in a sitcom. Was it Taxi? I think maybe he was in.
I think you're right, mate. Good memory.
He was a regular in Taxi or something, and he spoke his normal accent, which is just an American accent. That tripped me out seriously as a kid. I couldn't wrap my head around that. I'm like, that's what? Like, I think I might have even justified it like Mr. Miyagi is his real voice and he's putting on the American accent, I just couldn't, like, my God, that was like, it's those sorts of moments in your life, no matter how trivial, that teach you something. And you're like, hang on a minute, there's more to this than just a movie, This is a real life person.
I didn't discover that until like years later. I might have been in my 20s when I learned he's also a comedian or something like this as well. That was like his role. But that moment you're talking about, Bo, I had that with Rocky. I love the Rocky movies. But then when I watched Rambo, I'm like, what? That's the same guy? Like, how can he's, I had this image in my mind. It's like one movie, one guy. Like those movies, that's that guy. Rambo must be someone different, But when I saw Rambo, and I was like, he looks so familiar, and Mum and Dad told me it's Rocky, and I'm like, what? Like, how can that,
He got drafted.
Yeah, exactly.
He got so punch drunk from all the hits in the head, he's gone, I'll sign up for the Defence Force. That sounds like fun. He's got PTSD and CTE.
Actually, the same thing happened to me as a kid as well. I used to love the movie Death Becomes Her with Bruce Willis.
Is that the one? Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep.
Yeah,
and, Goldie Hawn.
The comedy. Yeah. I loved that movie as a kid. And it wasn't until like many, many years later in my teens, and I loved Die Hard and all that I realized that was Bruce Willis. I'm like, no, it wasn't. What the hell?
Yep.
And it's interesting talking. Sorry, Dave, you go.
The Rock playing The Rock playing another guy. It's The Rock playing The Rock playing another guy. Yes.
That's The Rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say, actually, before you were talking about the from the perspective of the bully, if you're the bully watching Karate Kid, do you get the same I always like, has it been done in comics or anything to your memory where it's like, the movie Teen Wolf?
Yep.
If like there's a story, but it's told from the bully's perspective. So the bully's playing basketball and then all of a sudden some random dude on the other team turns into a wolf. Have we seen that in comics or a movie yet where it's like from the bully's perspective and he's just getting beat on by, like, slam dunked on by the werewolf, or, he's training hard and this random kid who's done karate for 3 months beats him, like, surely. Have we seen a movie like that?
Surely we have. And if we haven't, we need to edit this part out and write it.
Yes, do it.
Are we live? Can we cut it?
Yeah.
Oh, you actually semi-impressed me with a brief flash of good taste. Oh, which part? Which part? Yeah, man. Actually, I just realized it happened another time as well. Frankenstein, Robert De Niro. Had no idea that was Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Right.
And I loved that Frankenstein movie.
It's amazing when we talk about actors and things. For instance, when people say, "Oh, they're so good," like there's some villains that you just absolutely hate, and you think, "I bet you that person's a dickhead in real life."
Yes.
And it happened with the guy that played Joffrey in Game of Thrones. Everyone hated him. He doesn't act anymore. Because that's all he's known for, and people just think he's an a-hole. But apparently, he's a really nice guy. But he was just awesome.
No, not Young Frankenstein. Frankenstein.
Is that the Gene Wilder one?
Huh?
Young Frankenstein. Is that the Gene Wilder one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah. No, they did a serious. It was just called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And to me, it's the best Frankenstein movie they've ever made. And I loved it so much as a kid, and I watched it so many times. And again, you turn into an adult, you start paying attention to actors, and you're like, shit, that movie I used to watch as a kid, that's Robert De Niro.
Yeah. Do you know who directed that one?
I feel like I do, but I don't anymore.
There we go. Max has nailed it. Kenneth Branagh.
Bo means Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but Kenneth Branagh, there you go, from the 90s.
Very, very good film. Nice pickup, Max. Well done.
Good adaptation.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
Great.
Shall we talk Karate Kid 2?
Yeah.
All right. So Karate Kid 1, we said 1982. Fast forward to 1986. Sorry, 4. Sorry. Yep. I was born in 82, you dickhead. 86 is the Karate Kid Part 2. Now, this is the one where he goes to Japan, correct?
Yep.
Okay, Dazza, how'd you feel about this one?
I think like you were saying, as a kid, when you watch movies, you just kind of take it all in. You're not like sort of saying, oh, it's not better than it's not as good as the original or whatever. You're just kind of watching the next part of the story, which I kind of miss, we kind of go to movies now and we sort of analyze it a bit more, I feel like audiences just kind of chill, watch it. So back in the day as a kid, I watched that one a lot. For whatever reason, I liked the idea of traveling somewhere, and being in a foreign location. Like, I think just Japan has a lot of that sort of mysticism around martial arts and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun for me. I used to really love the showdown in the little castle setting or whatever it is at the end. I thought that was really cool. So my brother and I watched Karate Kid 2 a ton on VHS. We had a taped copy off the TV, and it was like a school holiday thing. We would watch it all the time. And yeah, I remember really liking it. I love when he broke the ice. I thought that was awesome. How he had to do that, that little breathing thing before he did it. Yeah, so a lot of good memories. And I don't mind it today. Like, I watch it more with a nostalgic kind of view, but I get its flaws. It's not like as deep and rewatchable as the first one, but I don't mind it. Steve?
I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest. One thing I do remember are those little drums. Little drums.
Yeah,
I remember those. You remember the last fight scene out in the wet on the rocks and all that sort of stuff. Good, nice.
Yeah,
that's a great film. Blood sport. It was pretty cool to go back to Japan and see what life was like in Japan, because sort of around 86 and stuff. I've got to be honest with you, I had bugger all idea what Japan was like, apart from learning a little bit about the Tokugawa shogun in history at school.
Yep.
That was all I knew about Japan. So to actually see it and what it was like, I thought, that's actually really cool. I remember snippets of it, not a lot of it, but I'd have to go back and watch it again, because I remember I did enjoy it. Sheriff?
Funny thing was, it was on TV, I think last weekend. I was just listening to it in the background, and final scene at the castle where they had the dance, and in the final fight, I sat in, watched with the family, and then every couple of bits of dialogue, I'll say it first, and then the character will say it on screen, and then my daughter turns to me, how? so this is one of those movies where it's left a real imprint in me, that it's one of my favorites, and there's so many things. Like you said, this is not whether one is better than the other, but I felt I enjoyed this one a little bit more, in the sense that yes, it's done in a foreign location, but then you get to see more of Miyagi, where he came from, and then what kind of relationships that he left for America, and then the introduction of all the other characters, his best friend Sato, and how when he went to visit him at his house, he was banging and banging and banging on that piece of wood, and then in the what's that, in the village that night where he was trapped under the beam, and Miyagi just went done. So it's one thing fighting teenagers, and then that's another where you showcase what you can actually do. Just imagine if we had pulled the same stunt on the kids, they would have been.
And just before we maybe cross over to Bo, one thing that kind of stands out for me about 2 versus 1 is 2's a lot more adult. It's a lot more grown up. Like the themes are a lot more grown up. Obviously the production's a little bit better and all that sort of stuff, but it's definitely more of an adult kind of themed movie.
And how great was it that the beginning of 2 is immediate after 1?
Oh, I love that scene. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I love that.
It's like the few years between the 2 movies didn't actually exist. It just seamlessly. I
forgot about that. Yeah, good point.
The only time I can remember them doing that is Back to the Future as well.
Yeah,
you just don't see that in movies, you know.
No.
Yeah, look, this one always had a very special place in my heart because it was probably the first time I was exposed to that sort of scenery. Again, I was 4 years old when it came out, so I don't know when I actually watched it, but it upped the stakes a lot. I really fell for the Asian girl that he fell for, and I remember being upset that he didn't stay in Japan with her because I believed in the love, and that was the most important part to me. I hated that he went back to America. I'm like, what are you doing, dickhead? But yeah, I remember really, really enjoying it. I remember the bad guy making me feel like he was really bad, you know, like super, super evil, which, you know, again, when we talk about Cobra Kai, is a great story to turn that around. Like, I love that. So yeah, man, I think it was a great sequel, and it showed that as well, where the first one was, I guess, on paper, it's about skill, where the second one really is more about strength and love and stuff. And yeah, I really loved it. I really did.
Daniel-san gets messed up in that fight at the end. Like, he's bleeding and he's battered and stuff like this. Like, he's trying to say, like, I think Miyagi says something like, this isn't a tournament anymore or something like this, you know? So, yeah, I remember that being swept in that as well, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, the crane kick didn't work. The crane kick didn't work. He does it.
Oh, yeah.
And it fails. And I'm like, what? You know, I remember watching that as a kid being like, oh, he's got it now, the crane kick. And then he it didn't work, and that blew my mind when I saw it. Like, what the fuck?
Because Chosen faked a move, and then Daniel went too early, and he caught it mid-air.
No.
So then we go on to Karate Kid 3, which came out in 1989, and I've got to be honest with you, I hardly remember this film. And it's because it's probably different now, but about two years ago, I went to re-watch the Karate Kid films because it had been so long. And Karate Kid 1 and 2 was easily accessible from whatever streaming platforms, but for some reason, Karate Kid 3 wasn't. And I tried to find it, but I just never really bothered. And it wasn't until watching Cobra Kai that I started to remember the storyline of 3, but I still couldn't really remember if I liked the film or how I actually felt about it. So I'm going to skip this one. Dazza, how did you go with Karate Kid 3?
I can't remember when I watched that, but like I think my brother and I watched that at some point, and at the end we were just kind of like nothing really resonated, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like you're watching it because, like, you know those characters, and you kind of, you're like, oh, cool, Karate Kid 3, what happens next? You know, what's going on? But it was just very, very empty. Like you said, I didn't like that Daniel-san's had left the Japanese girl behind.
Well, you too.
I didn't like. Yeah, like he comes back and he's got a new girlfriend, and I thought, oh,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it just, I'd rather see him with the girl from the original one or the Japanese. I was also big on the love as well when that was happening. But I don't like from when I was a kid. I don't really remember much watching it, and I actually watched this last week because, ironically, it's Karate Kid, the Jackie Chan one, Karate Kid 3, and the next Karate Kid are on Netflix at the moment, but 1 and 2 aren't. So it's kind of a weird reversal there. So I watched part 3 and I'm like, okay, cool, we'll have a look. And the one thing that really really stood out to me, and I'm like, that is the shittest writing ever, is they've got in the story that Daniel-san, he can enter the tournament, but as a prior champion, he doesn't have to fight through the tournament again. He just gets to be at the top. And I'm like, that is so lame. That would never happen. No. And like, that's just like piss poor writing, and makes Karate Kid look lazy, like, and just looks like, so it lacked a lot. There wasn't much to it, much substance. So yeah, it didn't resonate. Don't like watching it. And I think that Karate Kid bullshit of gets to avoid the whole tournament is just, I hated it. I was like, nope.
That's not how it works. Terry Silver is an absolute prick.
Yes.
I
love it.
I know, I'm the same, mate. I just think he is just. I thought Kreese was bad, but then Terry Silver comes on, and then you got Mike Barnes as well. But Silver's just a nut.
Yes,
he's actually like he's training the kid to break him and destroy him. I mean, if that's what I did, that would be kicked out.
Yes. They're legit trying to kill him, right? Like it's rough.
And look, I like Thomasine Griffith as an actor. One of my favorite movies that he's been in is John Carpenter's Vampires. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have. I can't recall.
I love that film.
With James Woods in it. So it's a cool film. Just a little segue. Go and check it out if you haven't. It's a bit of fun actually. But Terry Silver's just a nut. And I looked at that and gone, like, he just got worse and worse and worse and worse as the movie went on. And obviously Mike Barnes is just programmed to be like a mini version of Terry Silver. And he was a good character. Look, it was out of the three originals, it was the weakest one, but I really liked Terry Silver's character. I thought he was cool.
Well, he comes in, he's just so psychotic and everything. That it leans a bit kind of to fun, right? Like, it actually cracked me up when Kreese goes to him on the phone. He goes, and before I go, I want you to make his knuckles bleed. And Terry Silver's sitting in his jacuzzi and he's like, oh, I like that, Johnny. I like that, and he's just like losing his mind. I'm like,
and again, I love how they brought him back into Cobra Kai as well. Because I remember seeing him walk in, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be good.
Everyone came back into Cobra Kai, right? Everyone came back.
Yeah.
I joked with my mates that I'm like, when everyone was coming back, because they even had the Japanese girl and the villain from the Japanese one was in it as well. Yep. I was like, oh, is the bonsai tree from the cliff going to come back into it? Like, oh, Daniel-san, I run a whatever business, thank you for rescuing me from the cliff,
And didn't in Cobra Kai, didn't they bring back, there was one of Johnny's little mini gang sort of thing. One of the guys was very, very sick. I think he had cancer, and I think they brought him back, didn't they? And unfortunately,
they put him in a body bag at the end. It's the guy who yells, "Put him in a body bag," and in the episode, he dies. I think he died in real life as well.
He did,
They zip him up in a body bag in the show, so just a little wink at the audience, So
So Terry Silver, prick, Sharif.
Yep.
Yeah, because if a man can't stand, he can't fight.
Yes.
If a man can't breathe, he can't fight. Okay, so for me, the thing that crushed me is that, again, the relationship between Daniel and Miyagi, how when Terry came in, that relationship kind of broke down. And it pains to see where one is hurting the other, and how hurt the other felt from what Daniel did behind his back. And how Daniel didn't trust Miyagi when he said you don't need to fight, but because he's a young man, he felt like he had to prove something, and that's like you said, because he only had to fight one fight in the finals. What has he got to lose? You know, he didn't have that motivation that he had in the first movie, where in that one he had something to no, I want to say he had something to prove, but it's a different kind of
you didn't like the fast track.
It takes a lot of the weight out of it, right? Like you lose a lot of the impact, like Sharif's saying.
It's still enjoyable, but I didn't get as much out of it like the first two, basically.
At that whole not having to fight and just fight the last fight in the tournament, it's like your team playing in a grand final, or winning a grand final. They're not having to play the next season, and they automatically go to the grand final again. It's just stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. Fast forwarding 5 years later, they then made the next Karate Kid, which everybody saw and went, why? No, don't you dare. And they still at least watched it once, like I did. I've only ever seen this movie once. How funny is it that it's what's her name? Hilary Swank.
Hilary
How
Swank.
funny is it that it was Hilary Swank, though? Yeah, I actually don't remember this movie either, man. I'm pretty sure I've only ever seen it once. What about you, Dazza?
Yes, seen it once. It was like, I remember it coming out at the cinema, and I remember being like, oh, next Karate Kid. I was like, oh, cool. For whatever reason, didn't get to see it at the cinema. We hired it on VHS, and it was like an overnight hire. You take it back the next day, and
it was a movie.
Didn't see it since, and it just felt weird. You know what I mean? Like the bond between the two of them didn't feel the same, and didn't. I remember it just never resonated. I cannot recall any scene from it. Actually, there's a scene at the start when there's a car about to hit the girl, and she jumps up on the bonnet, and she's in some kind of stance, and Miyagi's like, oh, that's whatever stance. That's all I can remember from it. Like she revealed that she had some martial arts talent.
Yeah.
Steve, do you remember this movie or see it? Or?
All I can say is two things. I'm glad she took up boxing.
Oh, yeah.
$1 Million Baby, because it's a lot better than her doing martial arts. And there's probably a really good explanation why it only got 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, and I think I never finished it. I think I got 3/4 of the way through it, and I'm like, this is just sponging off the last 3, trying to make some money out of it. It was shit. Sharif?
I watched it more than once.
Of course you did.
It's okay. Like this, it's a different dynamic. But then I think they tried to bring. I think this was an attempt to bring a different what's the word
reboot,
a different segment of people into the theaters. Karate is not only for boys, but girls can do it as well. But they didn't they didn't succeed. What's that pinging? I do still remember a lot of scenes, especially when Miyagi brought what's the character's name? Hillary to the monastery with the monks and
the sand or something there, like a sand.
Yeah, she was hopping from one rock to another, sand pit. No, floor is lava. You can't touch the floor. But but the end scene where we expect the big fight to happen,
I can't think of this song.
No.
There's not a lot memorable about this movie.
The end scene where we expect the big fight, it ended up as a street fight. And you know her last move was kneeling down like a prayer because she can't see.
What?
Kick coming in. She blocks, she jumps, and she kicks, and that's it. So the fanfare of the final fight, the final kick, it just fizzled.
Oh, that's
shit. It became more of a gimmick by that point, right? Like it was like, oh, this is her special move. Like it was like didn't quite. It was a bit on the nose, you know, like a bit just like.
It was grounded in reality.
I'm gonna get cancelled for that.
I hate that you made me remember that movie.
Fast forward 16 years later, Will Smith decided to make another Karate Kid movie, this time about Kung Fu. And starring his son.
Yes.
And making Jackie Chan Mr. Miyagi, which is really confusing for the next movie that's coming out, but we'll get there. So this one, look, I got to admit, if you didn't know or care about previous Karate Kid movies, which I guess is the point of this,
it
was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. It was a good movie, but I doubt I'll ever watch it again. Which I think that's what separates good movies with great movies. You know,
and I hate the fact that that version of the Karate Kid movie is my kid's Karate Kid. Oh, it kills me.
Oh no.
I just heard Claudia yell something out, and I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
She probably yelled out, "It's my favorite."
Okay.
Probably yelled out, "That's my favorite."
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean, I was really happy when I knew it was coming, because we knew about it. It was being made. You know, anything that I love as a kid, if it's obviously done well and right, I'm always happy for a new one. You know, it's a shame when, like, you know, they do Point Break the way that they did, or
Total
whatever.
Recall,
but
RoboCop.
Yeah, Total Recall. That's what I was thinking of as well.
It's a massive list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, but there was just nothing special about it.
Yeah, actually, this is another one I watched just for prep for this new one coming out. I watched this on Netflix the other day as well, and I got to a point. It's kind of a copy and paste in many ways. Like it's even shot for shot of the original one. Like when Jaden Smith goes to the dojo, you see the bad guy kid. He looks over when they bow. He looks over. It's the exact same setup shot that Johnny had in the original one. One thing I really liked about it, and I think that's just the magic of martial arts in movies, is when the kid realizes what the jacket on, jacket off stuff is all for. Like I really kind of love that moment. Like, and I kind of got a bit like, you know, oh, this is so cool. Like you watch Jackie Chan, he's like, here, hands up here, and he's holding his arm. He's like, here, put it up here, you know, show me, jacket off, and then it's all working. Like Karate Kid did the wax on, wax off, and paint the fence and all that. So that moment was still very effective, I thought, on screen. Like it looked really great. I think Jaden Smith, he holds his own really well, but I think visually he looks like he's 9 years old, and it takes a lot of the, I think if he was a teenager, like 16, and looked a bit bigger, more imposing, I think it'd be more entertaining to watch. But as a little kid watching them in a karate tournament, it seems a bit babyish to me. So I think visually it looks kind of a bit tame. Like looks too skinny for me. But like it was fun to see Jackie Chan. Again, I didn't find it that memorable, but like visually, like the production design looks great, and I could see why a new audience, like a young audience, would probably enjoy it. You know, I could see why like kids who watched it at that time would probably get a lot out of it. You know, so
yeah. Well said.
I'll be honest, I have not seen it.
Oh, really?
I'm like Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith. So yeah, would I want to watch a movie of a young fella who once went to a Grammys Awards recently and wore a castle on his head. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I've just got to sit down and just go, you know what, just watch it so you can say you've seen it. But, I mean, from what you guys are saying, it sounds all right. I'm probably going to be disappointed with it. I just don't like him as an actor. Not Jackie Chan.
I don't think you need to see it, mate.
No? Yeah, okay. What was that other movie that Jaden Smith did where he was on a planet or something?
That ruined his career.
Yeah, that was a drag of a movie, though, right? That was a tough watch.
I remember the trailer for that movie that we can't remember the title of, and it sounded exciting because it was Will Smith's voiceover, and it showed the planet and the sun and all that, and it's like, fear is not something that you're born with. Fear is a choice. And I'm like, this is such a great speech, and it looks cool. After Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, Max. Well done.
Terrible movie. Max is on it. Yeah, terrible film. And
it was weird as well because, like, Jaden Smith.
Thank you, Shaggy Mac. I do.
Jaden Smith was meant to be the lead in it, but there was a lot of screen time given to Will Smith just sitting there. He was injured for the whole movie, and he's sitting in this cockpit, and Jaden Smith has to do it. It was like really weird, like just having Will Smith sit there. It was such an odd, weird movie to watch.
I love movies. I hate After Earth.
Yeah.
Bad.
So in a nutshell, I don't. From what you guys are saying, I think I'll just give it a miss.
Yeah.
Or if there's a way that there's an edited version where it's just got the Jackie Chan parts, I'd be more than happy to watch that.
I'm sure on YouTube I would.
All right. So if you just want to watch the Jackie Chan part, look for it on YouTube. There is a scene cut from the movie. It wasn't used in the movie. It was supposed to be an extended fight scene after the big fight, after the tournament. It's between Jackie Chan's Mr. Han and the opposing
coach.
Cool. They fought. So it wasn't in the movie, but it's the video is available on YouTube. That bit good.
Absolutely nailed it, mate. Nailed it.
So for me, this Karate Kid movie, the part that I like most is, like the earlier ones, all the training scenes. Not so much about the story itself, but the training, especially the part where Mr. Han brought him on a train ride to the temple or monastery again, training with all the different masters and their different styles. And that's where Jaden's character watched this female master playing with a snake, and without having to actively teach him how to do it, he learned it by himself, and then he implemented it in the final scene, which maybe they're trying to play the character up a little bit too much, where they say he might have a natural knack to karate, but for a startup to emulate a master and being able to pull it off successfully in a big tournament like that, it's a bit of a stretch. But it looks good on screen.
And then we came up to one of the greatest ideas in the last God knows how long in television history, and that is Cobra Kai, baby. I love Cobra Kai, man, so freaking much. I mean, obviously the first couple of seasons were probably the best, but the whole idea of making a Karate Kid TV show centered around Johnny being the bad good guy, and the way that the story went on, and then bringing everybody back, I just loved every single freaking moment of it. And the fact that Johnny was so like out of touch with society, those jokes made me and Claudia laugh so often that even today we still have a joke where, you know, we'll turn around to each other and just be like, quiet, you know, because every single time Johnny did it, we just pissed ourselves laughing, man. And like, you know, the things you can't say to children if you're a teacher that he says, you know, it's just, oh my God, man, you know. And then like, you know, the nerd with the poor kid with the lip, and he becomes Spike, you know, and
Hawk,
and these other guys change their characters as well. The one character that I hated from day one, and I still hated until the end of the show, was that other nerd. That was his best friend, you know, and he was like, I'm not going to join karate. And then he does. And he just, man, he always fucking pissed me off, that guy. He just shut the fuck up. But Johnny, man, I freaking love Johnny, man. I just loved it. I was so upset when it ended, even though it ended so well as well. It gave us a good ending. I felt like a little bit of the characters' endings actually were a little bit, you know, like, okay, I know you've got to do something with them. But yeah, man, overall, like I'm very curious how a Cobra Kai viewing would be to people that have never seen Karate Kid, though, or I just don't know how much of an audience it would have. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling and I could keep going on about how much I love Cobra Kai. So Dazza, it's up to you while I go through some comments.
I think that the first season of that I was like super invested in, you know, like my wife and I watched that. We both watched that together. We were both devastated at the ending of that first season, where with Miguel and stuff like this, you know, because you want to see, like, you kind of really you were rooting for Miguel at that one. And then after that, my wife tuned out of the show, and I kind of slowly filtered my way through the rest. And there was I think from season 4, maybe, it just kind of, they threw all kind of logic and everything out the window. It just went straight into cheese land, you know. It was just like whatever silly thing. Like I said, I was ready for the bonsai tree to come back, you know, and be a character in the show. That's how silly it was getting. I'm not quite done with it. I'm like maybe 3 episodes off the final season now, so I'm slowly working my way through the last bit, because there was a long break, I think, between the final season and the one prior.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't spoil it then.
Yeah. I was like, I think I know what happens because the kids I work with and stuff have like blabbed. But the other thing I liked about it is it was getting an audience. Kids at school were talking about it. Like I find at schools now, kids don't really rally behind a show much anymore because there's so much attention out there, so many things to pull their attention, I should say. But Cobra Kai really was something that we're talking about a lot, which I was like, this is kind of cool to see, like that talk in the schoolyard that, oh, have you seen the next one? Don't spoil it and all this. Yeah, so that was fun to see. And yeah, Johnny's awesome, you know, like it was cool to see him have his whole moment. And yeah, even how he's like, you know, calling Daniel-san out on, like, they're trying to mesh their styles together, you know, and he's like very much, you know, fuck that, we need to just train him hard and stuff, you know, stop being like this pussies and all this, he calls them and stuff.
one of the more recent, sorry to interrupt him before we go to Steve, but one of the more recent things that he said that I don't think I'm ever going to forget, because it was just so dumb, not just out of touch, but dumb. And that is, he's on the plane and he's in a hurry because, you know, he wants to go back home for his for some reason.
I saw that one last night. Yeah.
and he sees the monitor on the plane, and it's circular, right? And he looks at it and he gets out of his chair. Hey?
The flight path,
the flight path. Thank you. And he gets out of his chair, and the kid says to him, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going to go talk to the pilot." And he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "I'm going to tell him to go straight, get there faster." Or something like that. And he turns around to the air hostess, and he's like, "That's what's going to happen." Sorry. And she goes, "But what you saw it last night. You explained it better." Sorry.
So he calls the stewardess over and says, "Look, you know." And Miguel's like, what are you doing? And he goes, "I'm going to get us home a bit quicker. Just watch." And he goes, "Look at this flight path that's bent and stuff." And she's like, "That's because of the curvature of the earth." And like, because he wanted it to just be a straight line from this place to the next. So yeah, it was dumb. But just the fact he's like, you know, sit back, kid. I'll handle this. I'll get us there a bit quicker, you know.
Doesn't
funny.
doesn't that say the testimony of the writers that they get Johnny?
Yeah. Yeah. Stevie.
I love the fact that Johnny still likes good music. Even all these years later, he still listens to the same stuff which I grew up with and still love as well. So that was a big plus for me. I just love that it's more his story, and even you can see how tormented and stuff he is, because things will start going right for him, and then something bad will happen, and he starts spiraling backwards again. Just constantly going to and fro, just trying to, things happen things happen that are positive, and then negative things happen. And I love all the homages. I love how they brought back a lot of the older actors to play their roles, even if it was only just for a brief moment. It was just beautiful, but it wasn't overdone. Like all the little homages and stuff, it wasn't like, here's 4 episodes of whoever it might have been. It was just like little short snippets of everyone. So it was just beautiful to pay the respects to those people who've come before. So I haven't seen the last season yet, so I'm looking forward to watching that. But the first 3 were just really interesting. That fight scene at the high school, I can't remember what series it was, but it was just like a martial arts fight at high school. Can you imagine that at high school? You'd be sitting back watching and going, that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
Until the guy gets kicked off the stairwell and breaks his back. But
I know.
But no, really good series, and it's actually better than what I thought it was going to be. So it was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, it was. It's been well done.
The character development with so many characters is just what I found brilliant, man. People you love, you hate. People you hate, you love. People you feel sorry for. It just changes so much with so many of them.
Yeah,
and each character has their own moment to shine. That's what I like, because they juggle it so well. Like there's the first couple of seasons for me, I enjoyed the most. I think it was in season 1 where we had a flashback on Johnny's youth, how his stepdad treated him so well, and how he was supposed to be in money, but now he's not. Yeah, man. Like I said before, the writers got Johnny. So how he was younger, and because of the circumstances of life, he just got worse. He's just unfiltered. That's what I love about him, and the callbacks to characters from the movie. This was supposed to be part of the bigger Miyagi verse. Right to the end, I was waiting for one character. She didn't come back.
Who?
A little disappointed. Hilary Swank.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's probably a reason, mate. 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. There's a reason why she didn't come back.
Look, even Daniel's girlfriend in part 3, she came back for like 1 episode, and it just so happens that it was his wife's cousin. Who knew?
Actually, there was one thing at the very end that I thought was going to happen, and I remember sitting there like a smart ass to Claudia, being like, "Watch this," and I said what was about to happen, and it didn't, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, forget that then."
One thing I didn't like was the idea of the Sakai Takai. It's supposed to be a hush underground best of the best kind of competition, and then they televised it. If it was something big and international, how did they not have?
Because you can watch it, you just can't talk about it.
It was probably a good decision from the creators to just be silly with it, right? Like, I mean, there's no way to take it seriously of like, the Miyagi-Do styles beats the Cobra Kai style, like it was like such old school kind of martial arts. You watch those old school Hong Kong films and it's like my whatever fist will challenge your whatever style and that kind of stuff, like it's, it was complete just cheese, you know what I mean? But I think it was probably the best way to deliver it, like. with so many characters, like people just want to dive into the fun of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing I love too, there's nothing more 80s sounding than calling your karate style Eagle Fang.
Yeah.
It sounds 80s. Eagles don't have fangs, as we all know.
No.
Like,
Yep.
and the logo, it just screamed 80s, didn't it?
Yep.
It was awesome.
Oh, I love the way he thinks. Eagle Fang. All right. And to wrap it all up, of course, the one and only Karate Kid Legends, which obviously none of us have seen. So instead, we're going to go around and say what we're hoping is in this movie, what we're expecting in this movie, what we think is going to be the movie, or what you're afraid the movie is going to be. Things of that nature. Daz.
Main thing I'm hanging to see is like the training montages, all that kind of stuff. The new actor in the film, Ben Wang, like he looks legit, you know what I mean? And I think it's great to see we've got some real martial arts actors in a martial arts film. So I think just that is what I'm excited about. Like with Jackie Chan back as well. It looks like it's the same character from his the Jaden Smith film, but he seems like they've changed him a bit. He's a bit more like you would expect from a Jackie Chan film. He seems like a bit more of a silly kind of fun character in this one, you know? So yeah, I'm just vibing off that, you know. I love that Jackie Chan's back and that we're probably seeing, you know, a martial arts movie on the big screen that we haven't seen in a while. So yeah, just excited about that.
I agree with you, Daz, 100%, mate. It's nice to actually have martial artists as actors rather than having actors who are martial artists.
Yeah.
For me, one of the big ones is the guy that played Iron Fist, whatever his name is. I just thought he was not convincing at all as a martial artist. And I know we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Danny Rand.
What's that?
Danny Rand.
Danny Rand. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not his real name. Even I know that. I'm a DC guy. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about. And the little snippets that I've seen, yeah, Ben, sorry, I can't remember his surname, but he does look like he knows what he's doing. So
yeah,
proper martial artist as actors, let's go.
Yep.
I'm excited to see it actually.
Same tree, different branch. Yeah, that sounds like a real tagline. I guess that's one way to bring two different franchises together.
What's the other franchise?
Well, I mean, Jaden Smith and Daniel.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm going to interrupt you there. I didn't see Jackie Chan. You're saying is the same character?
Yeah, from the other one. Yeah.
Mr. Han.
Mr. Han.
I thought it was. Oh my god! This whole time I've had a problem with this because I thought he was playing Mr. Miyagi in this one.
No.
And I'm like,
well.
no, I wouldn't have minded that, but he played Mr. Han in the last one, and I'm like, why would you hire Jackie Chan again? That's what I was angry about.
Right.
I didn't realize it was the same character. Okay.
Well, in the trailer when he came to to Daniel's dojo, he said, you know, you are to what to Mr. Miyagi is what Ben is to me. So
yeah, but that's something like The Rock says as well. You know, he talks about himself in the third person. So I just
anyway,
The Rock is very happy with this decision.
If you smell what Mr. Miyagi's cooking.
Well, recently there was one scene just came out in I watched it on YouTube where Mr. Han was ambushing what's Ben's character in the movie, I can't remember, in his home, and he was clad in black, dressed as a as a robber, breaking into the apartment and fighting him in the kitchen, and that showcased that brought Jackie Chan's history back with, oh man, as an old man he can still move. That's what it's about.
Yes, he can.
What I am afraid the starting of this movie is that they're gonna rehash how he gets bullied, and then Mr. Han comes in to train him, and Daniel comes in and teaches him, a different style, so that in the end he gets to put everything together for the final fight in the tournament.
Yeah, see, this is, I think, I've been thinking about this as well, Sharif. It's a little bit of a trap with just being the Karate Kid franchise. I mean, obviously it's the writer's job to come up with something that's going to be entertaining and that we want to see to be a successful movie. However,
we're going to leverage off the brand as well.
Yeah, I don't really want to. It's like Superman movies or Spider-Man movies. We don't want to see the origin, right? We've seen it enough. So I kind of don't want to see that, what Sharif just said, which is a kid getting bullied, blah, 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 blah. But on the other hand, I don't really know how else you really do that. I mean, I guess you could give the kids some other sort of motivation. There are ways around it, I guess. So he's
got to get views on TikTok. That's it.
Yeah.
My concern is, going by the trailers, where the hell is Johnny?
I'm predicting they're keeping that under wraps. Because all the Cobra Kai cast have been saying they're not involved in it, but surely someone's got to make an appearance in this, right? They would be silly to disregard Cobra Kai, I think.
Well, they did say that this is set about 2-3 years after Cobra Kai. So, Johnny's story is tied to Cobra Kai. I don't know if they would, or if Johnny would have any threat involvement in this one.
If this doesn't have Johnny in it, I'm going to be very pissed off.
I think even if he's just a face at the tournament at the end to cheer him on or something, I think it'd be. You got to see him there.
No, he's got to have a bigger. No, he's got to be bigger than that.
Oh, you want an actual part of the movie? Okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, he carried the whole TV show. They didn't make a TV show about you, Daniel.
No.
Go sell a car. We want.
Leave the karate to real people.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
We have talked for a long time. It's been an hour and a half. Anything else?
Follow Jump Punch. We're all things martial arts. When Karate Kid Legends is done, this will be your martial arts fix. Follow us. Our graphic novel will be up soon for you to get your hands on, and you won't ever go back.
And if you did come late into this show, go check out the start where we do talk about Jump Punch Comics and his upcoming events, including the Karate Kid, which is why we did this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be cool. But yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate, fun for me to come on. You guys are awesome. Can't wait to see the real Karate Kid video coming on soon.
It's going to be fun.
And we'll go from there.
We really do apologize to everybody for being so late with that, but it is coming. I swear it was done. It's done. The bruises have healed though, because it was that long ago. Sharif.
Can I just say, those of you who's reading the title of this video, Sweep the Leg, there is an actual music video starring Johnny titled Sweep the Leg. So if you've not watched it, go watch it.
Go check it out. Okay, cool.
There actually is, yeah.
And he's reprising his role. So I'll just say that.
I'll take a peek. I have to look at the fight scene from the Jackie Chan Karate Kid as well, where he fights the coach. I have to check that out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to be back with our FOC next week. Obviously, that is Wednesday, and guess what? It's going to be live. That's right. Next Wednesday is live FOC coming at you. Actually, Steve, what time are we doing it? Because you're the one that's probably latest out of all of us. 7:30.
It'll be 7:45.
7:45. All right.
Yeah.
We also have the 2 wrestling shows coming next week after the AAA World Collide, as well as the Money in the Bank. And I think that's all we've got so far. And the karate video. Yeah, that's coming. I'm telling you, it is. What is Aussieverse Dazza?
Aussieverse is
Quiet.
for life. It took 3 shows. 3 shows, I got it. I hope. Did I?
You got it.
You got it, mate.
Hey, nice. Aussieverse for life.
We'll catch you soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good night,